Hello, everybody. This is Jeff Kennedy with Leading RE. Thanks for joining us for this module of the Brave New World webinar series. We are here today with BombBomb, with Alicia, and some logistics. We're going to be recording this, and we will send out the recording to you guys later today or Monday, so you can watch it or forward it or whatever. 10 or 15 minutes of Alicia and I talking, and then we'll do some Q&A at the end. If you have a question, go ahead and use the chat box there. If you're thinking it, somebody else is probably thinking it too. So go ahead and ask it. Help everybody. And the origin of the Brave New World webinar series was COVID has affected everything that everybody's doing. Every level, it's parenting, life, relationships, work, of course, business. And we know that a lot of our agents are struggling a little bit with what do I do? How do I get started? And so the theme is how to use technology to connect at the human level and then also to be productive so that when this turns, because it will, you've got some momentum working towards that. And so I reached out to a lot of our partners in this space. Of course, BombBomb was one of my first emails. And I think that their product, if of all the ones that we've shown in the last 2 days, is probably one of the, if not the most relevant for this conversation. So let's have a conversation, I guess. Alicia, why don't you introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about what BombBomb does, and then let's chat about how you can help people connect at the
Yeah,
human level.
absolutely. Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here. My name is Alicia. I'm the national speaker for BombBomb. Normally, I spend most of my time on the road going to events. Right now, I'm spending all my time doing this, webinars from home. That being said, I do want to preface that I have big dogs, and if a dog walks by and they start barking, I'm just going to mute my mic, Jeff, okay?
Okay.
So what BombBomb does is we are video, but what we really focus on is simple video, video for relationships as opposed to video for marketing. And I always like to try and make the differentiation between the two. Video for marketing is more, you're public facing, more produced, you've planned out, you've, you know, worked with a videographer or whatever, but you're putting it out there to promote your business. Whereas what we do with simple video, it's more the simple human to human, not produced for the purpose of connection, not necessarily promotion. One of the things that, we've always used the terminology at BombBomb is be there in person when you can't be there in person. And that's where right now this has become really, really relevant, is giving real estate professionals the ability to use video to connect face to face right now, to use video to still go about the business that is happening in a way where they can still get information, they can still do virtual showings and things like that. So we've seen a huge influx in the last couple of weeks of people trying to figure out how to do this more effectively.
So we have some agents on the line. We have some brokers on the line. And what I like about BombBomb is that you can work with brokerage at the brokerage level. They can buy licenses and have everybody use it. Or even if you're just an individual agent and you want to pop on and do it just for yourself, anybody can use it. It's not very difficult to use. I've got it on my iPhone. I use it on my computer. And if you've been in business long enough, and most of us have, um, there have been times where my emails maybe were read incorrectly. Maybe the tone wasn't exactly the way I wanted it to be, or
Yeah.
whatever, and then there's maybe a mess to clean up. And that's okay if it's a coworker because you can clean up pretty easily. But if it's a client, maybe it's not. Maybe you lose a deal over it or whatever. You don't know. They just never call you back. So what I really like about BombBomb is that you use an app, you record your video, email, you send it out. It tracks kind of who's opened it, how often they've opened it, so I know. And then they can see my face. They can see my eyes. They can see my tone. They can hear all these unspoken kind of communications that happen verbally, I mean, non-verbally. And that is just a richer and more robust experience for them than just reading,
Yeah.
letters on an email.
Well, and I think that's why, I mean, obviously, right now where we're distanced, whether you're calling it social distancing or physical distancing, or whether you're locked down, in Colorado, we're shelter in place. We're not supposed to leave unless you are going to do critical business. And so that that ability for your clients to see your face and to still be able to connect that way has been huge, which is, the first thing that I would recommend that agents be doing right now in this moment. If you are sitting in your house wondering what you should be doing for your business right now, if business has slowed down, the number one thing you should be doing is showing up to your sphere of influence, to your past clients as a human being, one-to-one, sending quick videos saying, hey, Tom, Julie, how are you guys? How's your
Mhm.
family? Are you guys okay? I wanted to check in on you. Do you need anything? Right? That's the number one thing that agents should be doing right now. And normally in a session, I would never ever tell you to send a just checking in message, right? That is like, generally speaking, that is the worst thing you could do. Right now, that is the best thing you could be doing, is just sending simple check-in messages. Um, the whether you still have business rolling right now or not, um, it is a valuable use of your time, because your clients are going to remember that act of kindness long after this is all over. One of my favorite things about using video in this kind of moment right now is that when we watch videos of human faces, it actually stimulates serotonin production in our brains the same way as if you're having a face-to-face conversation. So your past clients, your sphere of influence, they're probably at home, quarantined with their family. They're not seeing a lot of other human faces. They're most likely not getting personal videos. And just by you sending a past client a quick video saying, hey, how are you? Do you need anything? Is there anything that I can help you with? You're actually having a positive effect on their brain chemistry because you're connecting with them in that way. That is lasting.
Hmm. Little medical advice. I like that. So one of the things that I like about the BombBomb also, so I used it, is I filmed a video or a BombBomb video and I sent it out, but it was kind of evergreen and I didn't say, "Hey Alicia, great to meet." It's like, "Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. How are things?" or whatever it was. Once you've created that, you can email that to 100 people, 200 people in a row. It tracks everyone opening it, and you're only filming once. So get it right. You might take a couple takes to get the lighting right and get everything, whatever. But you're not having to shoot and film and film and film unless you want to. Of course, make the more personalized it is, the better it is. But depending on your threshold of pain, depends on what you want to do.
Well, I would say I love the pre-recorded video, and that's one of the other things that I am encouraging agents to do right now, is to spend time building up their pre-recorded video library. BombBomb gives you the ability to have a video library full of videos that you've recorded already. So I would encourage you for the check-ins to make those personal. Like right now during this crisis, you should be making personal connections with your database. However, there is a ton of work that you could do in regards to building up a video library that's going to save you a massive amount of time and help you with scalability once business is rolling around at a normal pace again. For example, I see agents doing videos for frequently asked questions or next steps in the process. And that's
Hmm.
a huge benefit to have that in your video library. Think about those questions that you answer on almost every transaction, right? There are questions that you know that you have to answer over and over again. So if you take the time right now, just write down some of those frequently asked questions that you have answered 100 times already. If you record a quick video of that, either with your phone or your webcam, those videos stay in your BombBomb library so that the next time you are running around in between showings and you get that same question, you just go into your video library, you grab that video, you hit send, and now you've saved yourself the time because you're answering the question, but you're also communicating at a really, really high level. Your clients will appreciate it. In fact, the agents that are doing video for frequently asked questions and next steps in the process, that they're sending these videos out through the whole process to explain what to expect or what's happening next. They tell us that it's something that clients mention on their reviews all the time, that,
Hmm.
oh, I loved, she explained everything. I always knew what to expect. Those video messages were great. So not only it's saving you a ton of time because you don't have to keep answering that question, but your clients, they love being communicated with that way. It's easier for them to understand. When we watch a video, we actually retain about 90% of the information the first time. Whereas if you read it in an email, you only retain about 10% the first time. So
What's your open rate compared to a regular email? Do you know what your open rate is for the with videos attached? And it's embedded, by the way. It's not one of the ones that's going to get caught in a spam filter or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah, you don't have to worry about spam or file size. We embed a 3-second GIF file right in the body of the email, and it's the first 3 seconds of your video. So as soon as someone opens up the email, they see that video in motion. All they have to do is press play. They don't have to download anything. It's not an attachment. To give you a solid open rate, it's hard because there's so many factors that go into play. Like one-to-ones, you're going to see a way higher open rate having a video in there. People are always like, well, how do they know there's a video in there? Put video in the subject line. We all do the same thing. We open up our inbox and we kind of scroll, right, to see what's important, which we're going to open first, what we're going to get to later. So if you have the word video in your subject line, it's one of those things that like catches people's attention. It's that pattern disruption. So one-to-ones, you're going to see a much better increase. For mass sending with a video in it, you're still going to see a higher increase. It's not as big. The big thing is that especially in large sends, an email that has a video in it has a much higher click-through rate and reply rate. It's more engaging, right? People can
Yeah.
connect with a human face on the screen. We cannot connect with black text on a white screen. And real estate is about relationships, right? It does not matter how much technology ever comes into the space. It's about building relationships and maintaining relationships. And video is giving you that more human context.
So let's talk about that. BombBomb's obviously way better than a smiley face emoji at the end, right? It's way better way to connect. And so we've been talking about from an agent level, connecting with clients, but if you have your broker hat on, this is also a way to connect with agents that you have been maybe recruiting, want to stay in touch with. Maybe it's agents in your own brokerage. I mean, it's the same thing works. It's just a different application, but it's still you're still connecting at the personal level.
Yeah.
Um,
I
Go ahead.
Oh, I love video for recruiting. Like BombBomb is an incredible tool for agents, obviously. I think it's even way better for recruiting than it even is for agents because, you know, recruiting is it's a longer game and it just gives you that opportunity to stay face to face with them and just kind of like seed that relationship until they're actually ready to have the conversation. But even
Yeah.
right now in this crisis, like brokers are have the ability to stay connected to their agents in a way that they wouldn't be able to otherwise. The tracking even lets you know which of your agents might be really struggling and disengaged right now because if you're sending out videos to your entire agent base and, giving them updates or providing encouraging messages, you're going to know by email address which of your agents are opening the emails and watching those videos and which aren't. And that is also really valuable insight to you as a broker right now to know which of your agents aren't engaging, have
And
checked
it's
out.
not either or. I mean, you could have if you have a small brokerage, obviously you know all your agents by name. But if you have a bigger brokerage with 1,000 agents, you can still send out a State of the Union. Hey, we can get through this, guys. We're together. BombBomb email, and then the managers can have their own accounts and they can send out their own more personalized. There's no like one way to do it. So we only have a little bit of time left, another 10 minutes. Let's just assume, as a capital T truth, that in this COVID era, if you're an agent, you should be using video at some level, whether it's
Yes.
BombBomb or something else. If you can't meet them in person, video is the way to do it. So let's assume that that's already all. We all agree on that.
Yep.
And let's also assume that BombBomb is a great way to do that. So if you wanted to do that, awesome. In your experience, and I've had some of this even internally within our company, not everybody feels super comfortable with using BombBomb. So what are some of the um, reasons people use not to use it, and then what's your kind of response to that, so that they can overcome those? It's usually fear based, but
The number one reason why people don't do video over and over and over and over and over again is their fear and uncomfortability with being on camera. It's This is a very human thing, which is why which is why it's so prevalent, right? It has nothing necessarily to do with BombBomb or video. It has everything to do with our own unrealistic expectations on ourselves, our being our own worst critic, the negative messaging that we've allowed into our head that tells us that we have too many gray hairs, or I need to drop those 10 pounds before I would ever do a video. These are things that I've heard over and over and over again. So what I would encourage you, because I spend a lot of time talking about this, working through that fear and uncomfortability, the first thing that I always want to encourage you in is that you're super normal. And everyone has had to work through this at one way or another. There are a lot of highly paid professional Hollywood actors and actresses who are uncomfortable watching themselves on camera and don't even watch their movies back. Reese Witherspoon, like we can all agree she's an objectively attractive human being. She will not watch herself on screen because she said it makes her uncomfortable. So that's the number one thing is this is really, really normal to feel that way. We're used to experiencing the world from outside of our head. Sorry, from
Yeah.
inside. When you watch yourself on a video, now you're experiencing yourself outside of your head. It's why your voice sounds different to you when you see it on, when you hear it on camera. So it's really, really normal. But what I would encourage you with is number one, don't watch your videos back. And this is true whether you're doing BombBomb or if you're doing Instagram stories or anything like that. There is no benefit that comes from you watching your videos back because we're all our own worst critics.
Hmm.
And when you
And
watch,
nobody wants a highly processed, perfect video, anyways. I mean,
no,
the whole point of it is to be raw and authentic. It means if
yeah,
your dog barks, your dog barks.
yeah,
If my landscapers next door decide to mow grass today, it's just the way that it is. And usually the people that you're reaching out to have the same issues. They've got kids, they've got dogs, they've got the same
yeah,
stuff. So you can kind of not commiserate over that, but connect on that kind of that human level. And what I found on my end is, and I even had somebody tell me this, I'm like, I don't like the way I look. I sound like I'm super nasally. And he's like, but these people have already seen you in real life. That's your face. Like, it's not different on camera. It's just the way that it is. You might not like it, but for them, it's the same. You may
yeah.
not like the way your voice sounds, but for them, it's the same. So it's really not a big risk if you look at it.
The humanity aspect of simple video is what makes it so effective, right? When you see a more highly produced video, because even on these webinars I've been doing in these last few weeks with this crisis and people adjusting working at home, I've had agents asking me about green screens in their, if they can do a green screen on BombBomb like they can with Zoom. It's not human. It becomes, I mean, not saying a green screen isn't human, but the more things you do with like music or logo or backgrounds or any of that, when you're reaching out with a simple one-to-one, people don't feel like it's a video for connection at that point. They start to feel like they're being marketed to. And we
Mhm.
respond to that differently. The simplicity of the human, imperfect, I'm just like you know, is what makes it so effective. I read an article from the Associated Press just 2 days ago about all of these celebrities that we're seeing in their homes now in a more natural setting
Oh
because
yeah.
they're all at home, right? Celebrities cooking without makeup on, and you know they're Jimmy Fallon has been doing little shows from his house with his wife operating the camera, and on one of them, his girls were screaming and fighting in the background, right? So the article was talking about the fact that celebrities, these celebrities that are showing up in this way right now on social media, natural, unfiltered, kids going crazy, no makeup, that they are actually increasing their whatever star status, their goodwill with people because people feel like they can connect with it, right? They can connect with Jimmy Fallon trying to do
Mhm.
good while his kids are fighting in a way that they cannot connect with Jimmy Fallon on stage in a suit. So,
That's right.
uh, BombBomb is the same thing. It's giving you that point of connection.
So there's a yes, you want to connect and be real and raw and authentic. However, you also want to. Larry Kendall, Ninja. I don't know if you guys know who he is, but Ninja Selling. He coined a phrase that says, "If you make people feel good and solve a problem, they'll buy from you." So
Totally.
making people feel good is important, right? You're calling to connect with them, not for you, but to make them feel like this person cares and they've connected for that moment. That's not the time to say, "Hey, how are things going?" And they start going down this road, and next thing you know, you're discussing the COVID death toll and whether Trump did this or did that or CDC or whatever the thing is, that's not what you want to do. So you should probably be thinking in your head, what can you bring of value above and beyond the connection? Do you have ideas for, do you know that they have kids? Hey, have you thought about this chalk game you can play out on the front porch, or do bubbles, or if they have an elderly parent, or whatever the thing is, whatever the connection is, come and be prepared to bring that so that you're not just connecting, hey, how are you? I'm great. Okay, thanks. And then you just hang up. Like, really try to bring something for them, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the value piece is really, really important, both when we're not in a global pandemic and when we are. It's just that value looks different right now than maybe what your value as a real estate agent was, 3 months ago. The value that you had to offer in that conversation was maybe different. And I would encourage you to think outside of the box with some of that. Like, I've seen so many agents doing really, really cool, interesting, creative things to stay connected with their sphere and provide value that isn't necessarily real estate focused. Like, you can be a resource for your community right now, for the people in your sphere. You can send out a video email to your entire database saying, hey, just wanted to check in. I know we're all trying to figure out how to get through this. Thought I would share a couple of resources for you of free online classes for kids or whatever. And then you can just put those links down below the video. So you have a great opportunity to show up and be present in your sphere's lives right now and provide value that isn't necessarily about real estate. And the truth of the matter is, most of your clients are not in a headspace thinking about real estate right now. There might be some of them that are, but most of them aren't. So if you are showing up and being present and connecting and providing value, and they have real estate questions, they'll ask.
Right.
But you don't want to be in a situation right now where you are, showing up to connect and then being like, oh, by the way, it's not a bad time to sell, right? Because it's not sensitive to the situation that
That's
people
right.
are. They will ask if they have real estate questions. All you have to do right now is show up as a human being and
Yeah.
care about people. That's what.
You're investing in a future in a relationship now that may or may not have dividends later on, but it doesn't really cost you much now either, just a little bit of time.
Exactly.
We've got about 3 minutes left, so if you have questions, go ahead and type them into the chat box. And while they're doing that, if they do that, I need two things from you, Alicia. Can you tell us how to get a hold of you or your team if they have questions and want to sign up? And then
Yep.
second to that, if they finally get through all of that and they're like, okay, I'm going to do it, what are like your top 3 tips as far as lighting goes? Like right now I have a light up because otherwise I look too dark in here. So what are your top tips for lighting, for colors to wear, for the things just to keep in mind so you can at least try to, not make those mistakes early?
Yeah. So I'll cover both of those. The first one, if you go to bombbomb.com/next steps, you can sign up for a free trial if you want to do a free trial. It's totally free, 14 days, no credit card required. So that's just bombbomb.com/next steps. You guys are welcome to email me. I'm not worried. So I'll just give you my email address, but it's Alicia, ALICIA at BombBomb, really easy, Alicia at bombbomb.com. So feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to answer questions.
I will warn you, if you email Alicia, she will send you a bomb email back. She will not
Yes.
email you back with a regular email, so just be
No, I will
prepared.
send you a video back. Of
Yep,
course I
exactly.
will. So I would say my best tips for getting started, and if you do sign up for a free trial, you get a one-on-one call with one of our strategy coaches to kind of help you with some of this. But my best tips for getting started, number one, you do want to make sure that you have light shining on your face. You're going to feel better about your video if the lighting is good. Lighting makes a huge amount of difference. Like you're going to be shocked. Okay, why do you think all of those Instagram influencers use ring lights? So yeah, it makes a big
Not
difference.
not as good. And then if I do this with the light up, it freshens it up a little bit.
Yeah, you want to have light coming on your face, not from the back, okay? In regards to cameras, microphones, things like that, I would always say use what you have in front of you. Do not create hurdles to getting started with video by trying to have all of the gear. In fact, you most likely already have everything you need to do this. A webcam or a phone, we have a mobile app. So I would encourage you to focus less on the gear aspect when getting started and just start doing it. honestly. You have to press the record button and send a video. We've polled customers on average, like how many videos did it take of you sending out before you stopped caring so much? And the average answer is 5. So it really
Awesome.
doesn't take that many. And it's way less intimidating than like going on Facebook Live is terrifying, right? Like, yes, that's scary. Sending a quick video to a client saying, "Hey Jeff, I'm thinking about you. Are you guys doing okay?" It's not really all that scary. They already have seen your face. It's not like you're going to
Right.
get internet trolls from it.
And it's not live, so you can,
Oh, you
play
can
with it a little bit.
me too.
Right. This has been great. Thanks for your time today. I know you're busy. BombBomb's probably slammed right now with all the stuff going on. So appreciate you making time for us. Everybody, thank you for your time. Have a great weekend. Be safe, and we'll see you guys when we're through all this. Bye bye.